Welcome to the Michelle Mission, Two Men, One Podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I am joined as always by my partner.
Hey, what's up? Highlight your boy. This is Len, aka the Bat Tribble.
And as we continue our onward march towards 300, tonight we will spend time with late director John Singleton's fourth film. 1997's Rosewood, based, and we will talk about how loosely or non-loosely based on the real world Rosewood massacre. But before we get to Rosewood, what's going on, Lynn?
Nothing's going on, but let's find out what's going on with all of you out there in missionary land, ladies and gentlemen, as we are streaming live via StreamYard to Facebook, YouTube, as well as onto Twitch. Hello, each and every one of you missionaries and all of you out there in the chat as we are doing this live.
All the way live.
It's interesting that upon choosing this film, because, this is my selection, and it was a film that I chose, one, because it's a black film, and two, because it's only through the exercise of the Michelle Mission that I am even watching this movie, because this movie is like hits me very deep in my feels. And it's cool to, well, not cool, but it's a little interesting to see, especially out here in the chat, that there's more than a few of the missionaries who also felt the same way.
Okay.
Upon seeing this film. I speak of Deborah Battle, who mentions that she didn't see this movie until 2008, and I just wasn't ready to deal with the outcome of the movie. This is one of those movies that you only watch one time. And Robert Monroe Jr. said that he saw Rosewood in the theaters. Usually he's one of the few people left at the end of the closing credits. With Rosewood, the entire theater sat until the lights came on in stunned silence. As we left the theater, black folks looked angry and white folks looked like they just wanted to get out of the building in one piece. Which pretty much is a good summation of how I felt.
First
time watching this movie.
Look, it's a good thing that we're here to talk about it.
Yes. Yes. But before we get into that, we get into all of the thoughts and concerns and feedback that we get from each and every one of you. And we like to call this little segment of the show Listener Mail.
Hey, missives from the missionaries.
And we actually got a Facebook message from one Robert Monroe Jr.
Hey, Robert.
In response to last week's 6 Degrees of Dervell Martin.
Okay.
Where you, I must say, very, very impressively went in less than 6 films to get from Dervell Martin to Shirley Temple.
Yes. Amazing Grace is my secret weapon.
Which prompted Robert to ask, hey, have I told you my Shirley Temple darky movies story from when I managed the foreign film section of a video store in New York City's Upper West Side? Well, upon hearing that he had not regaled us with said tale, Robert begins.
Okay.
As I said, I was managing the foreign film section of a video store in the Upper West Side while living in New Jersey. One morning, I went into the city early to see Do the Right Thing before work. As you can imagine, I was not in the mood for white people nonsense after seeing that movie.
Sure.
So I get to work, and the first call I get is from a woman asking for Shirley Temple movies.
Okay.
I went through our available inventory, and she had already rented them all, and the other movies we had were being rented at the time. That's when the white people nonsense began. She asked if we had any other darky movies.
Darky movies.
Excuse me, I said. Do you have any other darky movies? She said. I could hear the smile in her voice. What exactly is a darky movie?
Yes.
I quizzed. You know, those movies where they have black people acting like darkies. I like to show them to my daughter. At that point, I had had my fill of white people nonsense for the day. So I retorted, "You probably can't tell from my voice, but I'm African American. And what you said was very offensive. I watched Do the Right Thing earlier today, and you should probably watch the movie because you obviously don't know what the right thing is. I'll have one of our guys deliver a Shirley Temple Darky movie to you." And then I hung up the phone. I sent off our delivery guy, and he returned with the movie. The woman didn't want it. Pause. I didn't know the video stores had delivery men.
Hey, they're in New York.
Okay,
Things are real fancy in New York.
Yeah.
Things are real fancy.
So that's some New York nonsense.
New York nonsense. Yeah. Fancy New York nonsense. Yeah.
He continues. Then she said, then she had the audacity to call me back with more white people nonsense, telling me that she didn't say darky movie. I was born in this country. My English is impeccable. I'm college educated, and there's nothing wrong with my hearing. I know what you said. She said, "Well, I didn't go to college. That's not my problem. I'm a man, and I have to get an education. I can't get on my knees and get a rich man to take care of me." I said, Robert Monroe is very easily triggered.
I see. This is going left.
There was silence on the line. My manager was looking at me with a "what the F" expression on his face. "Is there anything else I could do for you, or are we done?" I said. She started to babble something, and I hung up on her. I hit her with the rich man comment because our husband was a movie producer. I think the last name was Oz.
Trying to get us sued?
What? He doesn't say. He said he thinks the last name was. Okay, he thinks he knows what the last name was.
Okay.
But we don't know whether or not that was accurate, so we won't repeat that last name. That's quite a tale.
That is quite the tale.
Now, giving the woman the benefit of a doubt, I'm trying to think what she could have possibly said that sounded like darky.
Why would you give her the benefit of the doubt?
You know what? Now that I just think about
it, what are you doing right now?
No.
Don't gaslight yourself.
I can't give her the benefit of the doubt because she explained what she meant by the movie.
Right.
If she hadn't explained what she meant by the movie, then maybe you give her the benefit.
The world does enough gaslighting where we think they couldn't possibly have said it. Like, don't do it to yourself. She said darky movie and she wanted to share it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, look. There's nothing about that surprises me.
That's wild. That is a very wild story, Robert.
Yeah, look, man. Robert Townsend has a old bit where he talks about being a movie aficionado. He likes old movies like you do. But he talks about it's that weird space that you have to be in as a Black person when you like old movies. And frankly, it's a little overlap in the nerd spaces too, where you almost don't want Black people in it.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather just don't even have any Black people in it so that I can go ahead and enjoy it without it completely throwing me out of the experience completely.
You know what a movie, I mean, there's tons of movies like that, but there's a movie, I don't know if you ever saw A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith.
I keep meaning to watch it. You know who was talking about that? Omar Dorsey.
It's a great movie.
When we were together, he was talking about that, and I said, I need to watch that, but go ahead.
A fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Especially if you love the media. It's a fantastic movie.
Right. Because it's like Andy Griffith playing against type.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Well, no, he actually plays Andy Griffith, but then it's
you realize
a different way.
Yeah.
But and it's a great film, and I've seen it a number of times.
Yeah.
But maybe the next to the most recent time that I watched it, I don't know, for some reason, I noticed something that just totally, like, now I can't not see it, and it bothers me. Because there's a moment where I think like this sheriff, who's not Andy Griffith, is talking to this woman, and she's there to get Andy Griffith out of jail. His character, Lonesome Dove, out of jail. And the sheriff is talking to her, and it's a very innocuous conversation. But the most recent time I watched it, I noticed while he's doing that, he's having shoes shined by a black guy.
Okay.
And then when he gets up to walk over to the cell with the lady, he kind of like pets the black guy.
Oh, that's the exact type of detail too that throws you out.
It just took me like
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh man, why, man?
You know what mine is? You know what mine is? I think Richard Donner's Superman.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like the platonic ideal.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You know exactly what I'm about to go. Dwayne McDuffie actually used to talk about this too. There's a moment, and I don't know if it's the first time Clark Kent changes into Superman, or it's one of the times that he changes into Superman. And it really is, it has that, it has like that serial feel to it, and it's kind of updated, and it's very smart, and I love the act. I love all the performances, but there's one moment where Clark Kent changes into Superman, and they went to Central Casting and got the most stereotypical black guy that only exists in the minds of white people who don't know any black people. And he goes, "Whoa, Jack, those sure is some cool threads out of sight." Yes. It has nothing to do with the movie, has nothing to do with the plot.
No.
It's like, what, 30 seconds he's in the movie? But every time I watch Superman, I'm counting down to that moment. And like, I want the moment to come so it can be over, so I can watch the rest of the movie.
And to be fair, it got a huge laugh.
I mean,
when first run, but you
I've always hated that moment though.
It's definitely, that's crazy.
Yeah, old movies are tricky. Old movies are tricky.
I know, man.
Old movies are tricky.
I know, man.
Like I said, it's like just leave us out of them. Just leave us out of them completely.
I know.
Let me just watch the movie and not have to deal with this.
Yeah. Y'all just on another world,
right?
It's all white world,
right?
You know what I mean,
which is fine with me.
Which is fine.
Look,
which is fine.
Yeah,
which is fine. Absolutely freaking fine. God. Turning to other news, going into our Facebook group where our missionaries love to give us updates on the goings on in Black Hollywood. You were talking about this, Vince. Is a story from Deadline Hollywood that Ernie Hudson,
yes,
most famously, and I would say his role in Ghostbusters is probably his most famous.
I mean, I'd go with Penitentiary too, but that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
You. I don't even think he would go Penitentiary too. I would say
as a rainbow afro wig.
His most his famous role is in Ghostbusters.
Right. Also Penitentiary too. But we'll agree to.
Well, now he's got another notch on his belt. He's got another notch on his belt. That maybe this. An argument will say where this lands between Ghostbusters and Penitentiary 2.
Yeah.
As Ernie Hudson has been cast as Herbert Magic Williams, a Vietnam veteran and head of the time travel project at Quantum Leap, essentially playing the role that Dean Stockwell played.
Yeah.
In the new reboot of Quantum Leap,
and that is the most I've been interested in Quantum Leap.
In the reboot,
because
you're a fan of the series.
I am a fan, and you know what I just thought about too. Speaking of these movies from the 70s and 80s and genre movies and people of color, and Ernie Hudson playing a Vietnam vet is actually kind of an interesting thing, because I don't know if you know, like what's your Ghostbuster knowledge?
I'm pretty good,
right? So Eddie Murphy was originally supposed to play that, and that character was super well developed
Mm-hmm.
in the first couple of drafts of the script.
Big time.
And he was this military dude, and he had this background, and then it eventually got cut to the foolishness that it ended up being, where he answers an ad in the paper.
Pretty much because Eddie Murphy didn't sign on.
Right. So I like this Ernie Hudson now is playing this military strategist and guy. It's almost like an answer to what happened with Ghostbusters. Although from what I understand, the last Ghostbusters movie kind of rehabilitated his character too.
The one
that was just out this summer.
Yeah. I didn't even see that.
I haven't seen it, but from what I understand, his character really kind of comes into himself.
Oh, that's good.
In a way that didn't come across in the movies.
Well, 30 years later.
30 years later.
To be fair, though, even though his character wasn't like that much more developed backstory-wise, he was more integral in the world of the Ghostbusters in the animated series.
Right, but
I know it's not the same.
I was about to say.
But to be honest, by myself, I actually tried watching the animated series, and while I got through a lot of it, it doesn't hold up.
Look, man,
it doesn't hold up. Anyway,
we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
From one casting news to another.
Yes.
Vincent, have you seen that Hollywood? This was a story from Variety.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood is planning a Oscar Michaud biopic.
Yes. Is this a Tyler Perry story?
And Tyler Perry will be playing the pioneering filmmaker in this HBO biopic that is being developed by Craig Zadan and Neil Marin. And Perry will also be an executive producer, but he will not direct.
This story is like a year old, though. Like, I feel like I remember when it first broke, and then it's been circulating again.
I wonder whether or not because it's got some age on it, but I wonder whether or not it's like now with HBO Max becoming bigger concern.
Sure,
they're going to do something with it. So I have to say, in reading the story, and we probably have read this story before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been around for a minute,
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I said it before. I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry's films.
No.
And for the most part, I'm not necessarily a fan of Tyler Perry's acting in his films.
I was about to say he hasn't done much acting outside of his films, but
when I have seen
nobody
him,
does much acting in his films, frankly.
True. But when I have seen him outside of his films being directed by someone else,
mm-hmm.
I mean, he ain't Denzel.
No.
But he doesn't embarrass himself.
What have you seen him in?
He was in
he was in 3 minutes in that Star Trek movie.
He was in a Star Trek movie. He was in that Alex Cross movie.
Right. Okay. Did you see that?
I did. I caught like a good chunk of it.
Okay, I do remember.
I didn't enjoy the movie, but like I said, he wasn't embarrassing himself.
Right.
And then I've seen him in something else. Where that's right. He wasn't in somebody. Thank you, Sharon Eldridge. He was in Don't Look Up.
Okay.
And he's not bad in Don't Look Up.
Okay.
Actually, he's actually pretty good in Don't Look Up.
Man.
So I've seen him be directed.
Yeah.
And actually be okay. So I'll be curious to see how he comes off, pulls this off.
Right,
if this ever comes to fruition.
Right. Look, sure.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Why not?
All right.
It's stunt casting, but if it gets more people to see the story of Oscar Michaud, I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
True that. Speaking of HBO Max,
yes.
HBO Max had big time. A lot of people have been talking about a new show that is premiered on HBO Max I think over the last couple of weeks. That I have not had an opportunity to check out, but you have, Vincent. So let me get your read on what do you have to say about Bel Air?
Oh, well, first of all, Bel Air is on the.
Oh, is it on Peacock?
It's on Peacock Plus.
Well, that's why I haven't found it on HBO Max.
Yeah. Well, we actually had a bit of a Mexican standoff in my house.
Really?
Yeah, because Camille wanted to watch it. And we said, we're not getting Peacock. And she said, well, I want to watch it. I said, well, you know what? You can get it. Like you get the subscription to Peacock.
And did she get the subscription?
She got it. I mean,
she got her own money.
I mean, look, she don't have no overhead.
Whoa. Before you
I'm just saying.
She's in high school.
She's in high school. I'm just saying she has her baking business. People give her money, but she has no bills and no anything.
She's in high school. She's not
Right. I was telling my boy, she walk around the house, she big money grip with the swivel hip.
Okay, so it's on Peacock Plus.
It's on Peacock
which
Plus,
means that I probably will never see
which
it.
means yes, and it is not bad.
Really?
It is not bad at all.
Now, for those who don't know,
it is the reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
So, but it's
a drama.
It's a drama. They take it. So Will gets into this fight.
Same names. Okay.
It's not one. I mean, he describes it as one little fight, and his mom got scared. The fight ain't that little, and his mother should have been scared.
Oh, okay.
Like her sending him to the West Coast to get him out of West Philly. It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And then he's living with the family. And it is really interesting. The cast is great.
Okay.
The cast is great.
It's
the secret weapon.
Okay.
Quietly is G. The butler. Remember the butler?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's not just a butler anymore.
Is he like Alfred? He's like special forces.
That is 100% what he.
Oh, you know, I was joking.
I know he is described as the house manager.
Oh my God!
But he really, I mean, you think about it. They're rich. They got their money because Uncle Phil was. It sounds like he was a civil rights attorney. But all the big settlements and all, he is very, very successful. But the implication, he's rich. He has enemies. He has and G is his house manager.
Oh my God!
Who kind of takes care of things.
So he's the fixer.
Oh
my goodness! Oh my goodness!
He is very much the secret weapon of Bel-Air.
Oh my God!
Like you realize the show you want, and Uncle Phil is look at the cast.
I'm looking at the cast.
Uncle Phil
Will is played by Jabari Banks,
who's great. He's a great little actor.
Yeah,
he really is.
Uncle Phil is played by Adrian Holmes.
Yeah, yes, he is.
And Jeffrey is played by Jimmy Akingbula. Akingbula.
Jeffrey is not a game.
Yes, the house manager.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey is managing the house.
Originally from Jamaica before moving to London as a child.
Yes.
The cast is rounded out by Aunt Viv is played by Cassandra Freeman.
Yes, Lord.
Carlton is played by Ali Sholandon.
Yeah.
Hillary is played by Coco Jones,
who's a good little actress too. Apparently, she is she's from the Disney crop.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter talks about her, but yeah, she's a good little actress too.
Akira Akbar plays Ashley.
Yeah.
Simone Joy Jones plays Lisa Welks, a potential love interest
for
Will, and Carlton's ex.
Hey, I'm about to say, hey Lynn, that's the role that Nia Long played.
Oh. Oh, well, let's see if she holds up. And then there's Jordan L. Jones as Jazz.
Yeah, he's a good little actor too. It's a great little cast. It really is. And I'm not going to go so far as to say it's worth getting the Peacock. Okay. Just for Bel-Air. But it is surprisingly entertaining.
Really?
Like we kind of watched it with Camille, and then we're like all in.
Okay.
And then, like I said, it is, well, it's also kind of, it's weird getting older where you realize like when you were growing up, you identified with the kids.
And now you're identifying with Viv.
Like there's a scene where like Uncle Phil and Jeffrey were chilling in the study, drinking bourbon and listening to A Tribe Called Quest.
So they were in the Vince Lounge.
Right. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about them damn kids.
Exactly.
Right.
See, and that's not a knock on it at all, because I appreciate that it's probably going to be good. Will Smith does good stuff.
Yeah.
Right? He's the producers behind it.
And this is his legacy.
Most definitely.
So you know he's not going to play with it.
But the thing that's kept keeping me a little bit at arm's length is honestly just the realization that I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be for me.
Right.
Like, I think it's supposed to be for Camille.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Although, like I said, maybe I'm biased, but the Aunt Viv, Uncle Phil, Jeffrey characters, you'll fool around and they'll steal the show.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking
like
here.
They're very interesting.
I'm looking here in the chat.
Yeah.
Everybody is shouting out Cassie Freeman. She's a podcast fave. Farrell Blackwell loves the Fresh Prince show. Carlton is a standout, but at times it seems like the lead actor is at times doing a Will Smith impersonation. Miss Makiba says Jeffrey is a triple OG. Well, Miss Makiba said it.
Yeah, Jeffrey ain't no game. Jeffrey ain't no game. What I came away from the show realizing is that I want a house manager.
Get a house manager.
I always said that if I got super rich, that's the first thing I'd get is a cat's paw.
You'd buy a cat's paw?
No. That's the old name for that.
Is it really?
A cat's paw.
Wait a minute. That's the old name for a house manager?
That is I don't know if it's medieval, but yeah, it's a cat's paw. Like your fix-it guy.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yep. Cat's paw.
I knew that. You are a different kind of brother.
Yep. I always said if I got rich, the first thing I'd want is a cat's paw.
Well, first of all, you need to be rich because only the rich know that a cat's paw
is.
Yeah.
Like a guy. Like I want a guy who kind of takes care of things.
Willette Barnett says Jeffrey is very easy on the eyes as well.
I mean, it's a good looking cast.
Okay.
It's a good looking cast. Like, again, I'm not ready to say, oh, go get the Peacock for I don't know if this is the killer app for the Peacock, but it is surprising. I was surprised by how good it is.
Well,
so,
maybe.
And it's very respectful because I think what you were getting to is the casting news of, Daphne and Maxwell Reed and
I just had it. Hold on. Where's my phone? I just had it. They are going to now. Right. I think
they're going to be on the show in guest spots.
I'm about to say because I don't think they're I don't believe they're joining the show.
No, right. So second Aunt Viv.
Right.
And the actress who played Will's mother.
Hold on. I'm getting to it. I'm scrolling to it. I say this will be cut out. It won't be cut out.
No.
Yes, here we go. Bel Air to host the original. Daphne Maxwell Reed and Vernie Watson Johnson.
Yes, are going to have guest spots.
Who respectively co-starred as Aunt Viv and Viola Vi Smith on the original. Will guest star on Peacock's dramatic reimagining of the series. They will both appear in episode 9, which is the penultimate episode.
Yes.
So for season 1. Is this another one of those series that comes out every week? Okay.
Yeah, every week.
All right. I've got 1,800 emails. Maybe I'll get a free trial.
I know.
And check it out.
Yeah.
I will do that. All right. Oh, isn't this so nice? Miss Makiba says, I will send you my Peacock password so you can watch.
I don't know if you need to be saying that all out loud and stuff.
You don't. And I just wanted to, unless, because the bots might have locked on that already. So I'm just going to say, Miss Makiba, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. But no, I will get a,
but certainly
my way into Peacock and I will check it out.
Yeah.
I will report back.
Okay.
All right. All right, Vince. It's time.
Oh, is it time?
It's time.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you sitting there.
Oh, shut up. It's time for us to get into the 6 degrees of Durval Martin. But before we do that, we got a little bit of business that I need to let people know, a little special announcement to let each and every one of our missionaries know that not next week, but the week after next, on the Michaud Mission, we got a very, very special show planned for you as Vincent and I sit down to review the long requested sexual fantasy, if you will, that is
sexual extravaganza.
That is Trois from the year 2000. And we're not going to sit down by ourselves.
I can't believe we're going Trois.
We're going to have very special guests, Daryl Charles and Tim Marie of the DTF Fun Hour, which I guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, is the funnest sex podcast you will ever hear. The DTF Fun Hour, available where all good podcasts are. We're going to do that show, but it's going to be on a special night. It'll be on Monday, March 21st. So mark your calendars. Yes. Yes, everybody knows it all goes down on Mondays.
All goes down on Monday. The sexiest of nights.
So Monday.
I don't know how we're going to get through the episode. Because I think I'm just going to be laughing the whole time.
We can't get through the ad.
We can't even get through the ad.
Monday, March 21st, regular time, 7 p.m. But Monday.
You and her.
Simultaneous loving, baby.
Oh, my God. Whose hand is that on my butt?
Oh God. All right.
Oh boy.
So yes, again, special night, Monday, March 21st. The Men of Michaud welcome Daryl Charles and Tim Marie of the DTF Fun Hour, the funnest sex show in the world, to review Trois from the year 2000. So mark your calendars so that you do not miss that episode of the Michaud Mission. And also feel free when you're thanking us for doing all this special work and having special nights. Why don't you leave it? Thank us via a voicemail. Give us a call at 215-867-9666 and tell Vincent and Len what's on your mind. We will be playing these voicemails soon on our episodes as we make our way to our triumphant and historic episode 300 of the Michaud Mission. All right, Vincent, you're ready for 6 degrees of Durval Martin?
I am ready.
In 6 movies or less.
6 movies or less get from the thespian Durval Martin to
John Wayne.
Didn't we do John Wayne? We actually did John Wayne.
Did we do John Wayne?
We actually did John Wayne.
I didn't remember that we did.
Because Scatman Crothers.
All right, never mind. John Wayne.
Yeah.
Then get from, because I'm ready.
All right.
From Durval Martin
to
Sophia Loren.
Sophia Loren. Interesting. Okay. Sophia Loren. Okay. Question.
Okay.
Is Sophia Loren in Grumpier Old Men?
Yes, that's the second one, right?
Yes. Durval Martin is in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier is in The Defiant Ones with Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis is in Some Like It Hot with
I'm not telling you.
Is it Walter Matthau?
I'm not telling you.
Is it Walter Matthau? It's Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau is in Grumpier Old Men with Sophia Loren.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Then you are wrong. Tony Curtis is in Some Like It Hot with Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon. I'm sorry. You're right.
I know.
Yeah. Right. And then Jack Lemmon is in Grumpier Old Men with
Yes.
Sophia Loren.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. But you were wrong.
Yeah. I mixed up Walter Matthau with Jack Lemmon. Yes, I did. That is true.
Right. Which means that you were wrong.
which means I was yes.
Which means that you lost.
Okay, I looked. There you go. I did mix up Jack. You want to go ahead and revel in it?
Well, we don't need to play this game anymore. It's been fun.
You gonna drop a banner that says "Mission accomplished"?
If I could make that GIF real quick, I would throw that up here. Oh God. The second you said grown old men, I knew where you were going. I said, oh fuck, I hate you.
You got another one?
Now I'm trying to come up with one. All right. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Get from no.
They're like old white guys though. So and they're like old white guys. I mixed them up. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau.
They look nothing alike.
Yeah, but they don't. But aren't they really kind of the same guy?
No, they're not. Even though I love them both.
Aren't they kind of?
I love
the
them
same
both
guy?
equally. They're not the
Couldn't
same.
Walter
guy.
Matthau have been in Some Like It Hot and Grumpier Old Men?
I don't
like
think
the parallel universe where he's in those roles. Do the films change at all?
Do you really want to see Walter Matthau dressed up like a woman?
I mean, I want to see Jack Lemmon dressed up like a woman.
He looked a lot better than Walter Matthau would look.
And a young Walter Matthau may have been quite fetching in a dress.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't fetching in a suit, so he wasn't fetching in a dress. Right. All right, so get from 6 Degrees of Devo Martin to I just came up with this real quick. So
all right,
I'm going to knock this out the box. I know.
All right,
Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, Elizabeth Taylor.
Trying to think of somebody who I haven't seen black people in her movies.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. I don't like.
Oh, you don't know a lot of her movies,
right? So she's in Cleopatra. She's in what's the Tennessee Williams play?
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Right. She's in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Is Paul Newman in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? Is that Paul Newman?
This is not fair. You're asking me these questions because I know where you're going now. I know exactly where you're going.
I know Paul Newman is in one of those Tennessee Williams.
Yes, he's in
movies.
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, okay. What are you? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Go ahead. It's not fair.
How's that not fair?
Because you're asking me.
Look, I didn't say who's in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
No, but you
I knew she was in a Tennessee Williams movie.
No, you didn't ask me. Is Paul Newman?
No, I said you replay it. I said I don't really know what Elizabeth Taylor is in. So then I sat and I tried to I only really know Cleopatra. Mm-hmm. And then I knew she was in one of the Tennessee Williams.
And you asked me which movie it was, and I said Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And you said, is that Paul Newman?
Here's the thing. The only Tennessee Williams movies I know are Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Streetcar Named Desire.
Mm-hmm. That's the only two I know.
I think those are the only two I know. So the only thing I was really asking was, is that Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? or like the Glass Menagerie?
No. That's not the only thing you were asking. Because after you asked me that,
I
said,
no.
Listen,
When you said she's in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof,
Mhm.
which then made me think, because Tennessee Williams always has the quote unquote very sensitive young man in his plays, which is who are barely coded as gay. And I knew pretty ass Paul Newman played one of those roles. The only, like I said, the only Tennessee Williams movie that I know is Streetcar Named Desire. And the other one, like, my real question was, is it Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or is it the Glass Menagerie?
No, that's not you
like, I really needed the title. But I knew Paul Newman was in it.
No. But if you knew that, you wouldn't have then asked me, which is what you asked me.
I'm just trying to have Paul Newman. I'm trying to have conversation. I knew it was Paul Newman. I just told you how I knew it was Paul Newman.
Sure. After the fact, you can fill that in.
It's either Paul Newman or Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando is in Streetcar Named Desire. So I knew it was Paul Newman.
I'm coming up with another name.
Who was in Sneakers with Sidney Poitier. Who was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with D'Urville Martin.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
You're wrong.
Oh, for Christ's
sake. Paul Newman is not in Sneakers.
Yes, Paul Newman. Yes. Now that's Robert Redford.
That's Robert Redford.
Yes.
Where I thought you were going was Paul Newman was in Paris Blue.
Yeah.
With Sidney Poitier.
Well, you done got me all worked up. Obviously, I know he's in Paris Blues.
Why do I obviously know it? Because that's not what you said.
Because I love Paris Blues.
And I won again.
Yes. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. It is a version of me trying to take the free throw and you're behind doing the streamers. Yeah, there you go. Very nice.
I won.
Do I get points for making a sports analogy?
Hell no. No, you don't get no points. Just sit there and you're lose.
All right, pick a third one.
Now you want a third one.
Oh, you ain't got to pick no third one?
I'll pick a third one. I got a third one for you.
Yes.
I got a third one for you. We'll do white guy.
Yeah. Because you stay away from the blacks.
I'm going to stay away from the black. Hell, yeah. D'Urville been in everybody's kitchen. Get from D'Urville Martin to Robert Mitchum.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that because all I really know of Robert Mitchum is Cape Fear. Like, I know Robert Mitchum is always in a whole bunch of stuff, but the only one I can really pull is Cape Fear, and I don't even know who else is in Cape Fear.
With him?
Yeah.
Gregory Peck.
Yeah, I can't do no with Gregory Peck. Like, I think that now this is a legitimate win.
It is a legitimate win. I'm trying to think, can I get there? Can I get from Gregory Peck or Robert Mitchum? Because the easiest way is to easily get to Ozzy, Brock Peters, or who is the guy who plays in To Kill a Mockingbird?
Is Robert Mitchum? Oh no, Gregory Peck.
Is Gregory Peck? Is that Brock
Peters? That Brock Peters? That might be Brock Peters.
I think that's Brock Peters in there.
Oh right, then you just get from Sidney Poitier to Brock Peters and Porgy and Bess.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how you can go there.
Yeah. Robert Mitchum is one of those actors. Here, the funny thing is, every time I see Robert Mitchum, I really like him. I just don't like. I just can't put my finger on anything that
he did a lot
except Cape Fear.
Which I mean. You see Cape Fear, you don't really need to see much else.
Yeah.
Robert Mitchum, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the time he kind of like sleepwalks, but he's just got the presence.
Yeah.
Big dude. But yeah.
In the face.
Yeah.
He's got that great face.
Oh, that's right. Aaron Fries reminded me of another Robert Mitchum great movie, Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter. Who's in Night of the Hunter with him?
That's a good question. I can't remember. But you know who directed Night of the Hunter?
If I sit here long enough, I'll think of it because I like him. Is that Stanley Kramer?
No.
Who?
Charles Lawton, the actor. His one his one and only acting credit.
And,
I mean, directing
and
credit.
what happened to him? Did he drink himself to death or something?
I think
Like, isn't this
did.
a sad story? I thought there's something sad about Night of the Hunter.
I think he did. I think he did.
Yeah.
Did.
Night of the Hunter is good.
Yeah.
Who's in that with him?
That's a good question.
Yeah, Robert Mitchum is I can't get to Robert Mitchum.
Night of the Hunter
without looking at his IMDb.
Like, he's probably the biggest name besides Shelley Winters.
Oh, and well, there you go. Because I can get to Sidney Poitier to Shelley Winters.
And Lillian Gish. I mean, you know.
Because Shelley Winters is with Sidney Poitier in A Patch of Blue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Sidney Poitier, Shelley Winters, Robert Mitchum in Night of the Hunter.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, I don't know who's. Yeah, that's a good movie. Night of the Hunter is good.
Very good.
Yeah. And Cape Fear is fantastic.
Yeah. Charles Lawton, do you know who he was married to?
I do not.
He was married to Elsa Lanchester.
I have no idea who that is.
Elsa Lanchester was the bride of Frankenstein.
Interesting. These are all fantastic films, and you know what they all have in common? Ain't no black people in them. So like you can enjoy them. Now we've circled on. This is what I'm talking about.
Circle.
This is what I'm talking about. Like you said, Robert Mitchum, and I thought Cape Fear, and I was like, wow, Cape Fear is good. And I was like, don't have to worry about no black people in Cape Fear.
Nope.
Mrs. Charlie, John, I brought your newspaper. It's like, God damn. I was enjoying this so much. Hush up, meet these pancakes. Oh my God, here we go. Ain't no black people in Night of the Hunter?
Nope.
No?
No black people in Bride of Frankenstein?
No black people in Bride of Frankenstein?
Nope. Just sit back, eat your popcorn, just watch.
Dr. Frankenstein, it sure is stormy outside. Like, oh my God. I just watched my movie.
Anyway, all right. That was fun.
Robert Mitchum is good.
Yeah,
Robert Mitchum is a good one.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let's get into our review, Vincent.
Okay.
Of Rosewood. But first, it's time for Trailer Talk.
Trailer Talk.
Where we talk about a whole bunch of stuff that is going to be cut out of the show. This is where the trailer is going to live on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe this is a time for maybe possible spoiler. Were you able to see The Batman this weekend?
No, I still haven't seen it.
What are you waiting for?
Look, man, 3 hours is a long, and me and Camille have to go.
She's ready.
Yeah, but Camille has a social schedule. She got stuff to do, so I got to wait till she's free.
Speaking of which, can I get some cupcakes or something?
I mean, yeah.
Does she make cookies?
No,
she doesn't make cookies. So she just makes chocolate cakes
and pastries. And I'll give you the menu. Lemon bars.
See, I'm not a lemon bar person. I know people like lemon bar. I'm not a lemon bar person.
Lemon bar dude.
I asked my lady. Maybe she likes lemon bars. Yeah. Her chocolate cakes are good. They're just thick.
They're
real thick, man.
Yeah, I'll give you a menu.
Yeah, give me a menu.
Yeah.
Check it out. Put an order in now.
Put an order
for
in
Christmas.
So
no, she gets booked.
Yeah.
Booked like that.
But no, I've not seen the Batman. Oh, I'm sorry. Breaking news. She does make cookies. Chocolate chip and cheesecake cookies.
She's like, excuse me. Father.
Yes.
If you could put over a sales slip to Mr. Len, please.
Right, exactly.
Because chocolate chip cookie, yo, Camille, I'm looking at me and you, girl.
All right.
Yeah. Like some chocolate chip cookies, whatever. Just tell me whatever, Cash App you. Boom.
Yes.
Done.
Various ways to pay her. So I will
All right.
Bless
Oh,
you.
oh, you want to go to Fan Expo? I got you in Fan Expo. I got you in Fan Expo, girl. What? What? Holla at me. Holla at you.
Yes, yes,
Holla at your
yes,
uncle. All right.
yes,
I got
yes,
you.
yes.
You and your girlfriends. Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
But no, I did not see the Batman yet.
Gotta see it,
I
man.
know. I'm looking forward to
So
it.
good.
I'm looking forward to it.
So good. I'm ready to see it again.
Okay, you ready for another 3-hour march?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm ready.
all right.
I'm ready.
I mean, this is 2 hours and 20 minutes. This movie, so
I know.
it's probably be easy to.
I know.
But that's not trailer talk.
That's not.
That's the actual show.
That's the actual show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like when
I didn't mean that. That was my fault. I broke protocol.
You broke protocol.
I
bro.
did.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You did that. All right.
All right.
I guess this has been trailer talk.
This is. This has been trailer talk. This has been trailer talk.
You know what? This is a little bit of trailer talk.
Okay.
Because it'll be cut out.
Mm-hmm.
For all of you missionaries who have been, clamoring for Vincent and I to return to Spock Adjacent and start talking about Star Trek again. Well, your wishes have not been answered.
Where are you going with this?
We will not be doing Spock Adjacent. However, coming soon. I'm not announcing the date. I'm not even announcing the show yet.
Mm-hmm.
But coming soon, because of ongoing negotiations, Vincent has agreed to do another podcast.
Yeah.
You agreed.
In theory.
No, you didn't.
It's
Not
way
in theory.
too early to be talking about this.
I'm just giving them a heads up. I'm not saying it's coming tomorrow.
Like a 2-year heads up.
It's not supposed to be 2 years. Vincent.
It's no reason to be talking about this.
Vincent.
We're not.
You made a deal.
Yeah, but we got like a million things
to
finish before we even.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
I'm just letting people know.
I mean, okay,
it might be a very special summer.
Maybe next summer.
No, Vincent.
We can talk. Are you ready to do the movie?
Somebody said, Miss McKeever said, why does Len sound like Spike Lee ordering those cookies? Because they all that. And because the place where I go and get my usual chocolate chip cookies, they're not making chocolate chip cookies right now because of COVID. So I need my fix. Like, it's the only cookie I eat is chocolate chip cookies. I don't eat any other type of cookie except chocolate chip cookies. So, and I trust Camille. She makes a good chocolate cake. So I'm trusting that she makes a good chocolate chip cookie, and I'm ready to check them out.
All right,
Vince. That has been enough trailer talk. It's time for us to get to our movie. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I will give you the high sign.
All right. Rosewood from 1997. Rosewood, Florida is a small, peaceful town with an almost entirely African-American population of middle-class homeowners. Until New Year's Day 1923, when a lynch mob from a neighboring white community storms the town. Among the carnage, music teacher Sylvester and mysterious stranger Man stand tall against the invaders, while white grocer John attempts to save the town's women and children. The film is based on the true story of the Rosewood Massacre, directed by John Singleton, with a script written by Gregory Poirier.
I think it's Poirier.
Vin Rhames, Don Cheadle, John Voight, Esther Roll. Star in the fourth film from John Singleton. As we march towards 300, this was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what do you have to say about 1997's Rosewood?
Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, when I saw this movie back in 1997, this is a movie that really hit me very hard. And returning to this, and so much so that is one of those movies that I just knew I didn't need to see again. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it was not good, but because it was the anger that it incited in me for the needlessness of what was of this incident that happened. And to be fair, I'm not even 100% sure when I watched it in 1997 if I was aware that it was a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think I maybe had an inkling of it, but because of some of the things that happened in the movie, I was like, oh, this obviously is like they kind of like went left with this. I don't think this is actually a true story. It was like a little ambiguous to me. But this was a movie that in 1997 and even now watching it totally fakes me out, because it's a film that opens up very idyllic, time, idyllic scene, these this black town, this town of black people, self-sufficient, self-sustaining, building a life for themselves, living in harmony, if not quite peace, with their neighbors in the town of Sumner, nearby. They're cohabitating. They're finding a way to like, because harmony doesn't even do it
right. They
figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's a film that that lulls you in to a little bit of a false sense of security, as smart films such as this do, with the kids running around and being free and open with play. You see some whites and blacks seemingly get along very well with one another. Two of them get along very well with one another. You learn in the back of a grocery store. You have Elise Neal, who is running around teaching the kids, telling stories to the kids. Esther Roll, who probably at this time in her life is kind of like, Black Hollywood's grandma, what the role that Cicely Tyson would soon age into. So it's a very, very young Don Cheadle, who I didn't even remember being in this film, playing the piano, just safe in his own security and in the life that they have built for one another. And then into town comes, Vin Rhames riding on a horse. He's man. So while he looks like he stepped out of like this is almost like a black version of a Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The way that he comes in there, like he's basically the man. What's left unsaid is the man with no name.
Yeah,
because it's just man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's complete with saddlebag on his shoulder. With like Clint Eastwood wore in many of his spaghetti westerns, Sergio Leone movies, and typical of those films. Clint Eastwood would ride into town and he'd find himself embroiled in either some feud between towns or factions fighting against one another. And that's what happens with Man as he comes into this town, seemingly upsetting the apple cart between the blacks and the whites. But it actually, he is not the culprit in this film. He is not the inciter of the massacre that is about to be put on display in this film. It is in fact our good old friend Karen, a white woman who is the lighter of the flame of what goes down in this movie and sets the whole town ablaze. For those who don't know, the Rosewood massacre, which took place in the early part of the 1923.
1923.
Right. New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's
1923.
Yeah.
This town in Florida of Rosewood, that lived alongside Sumner. This white woman claimed that she was attacked by a black man in her home.
Yes.
She says she was not raped,
Right.
but this story gets out as it, as these stories, do. It turns into that he attacked her, into that he beat the hell out of her and raped her
Right.
in her home, which causes the white people to all of a sudden, they just needed a reason.
Yeah. Because of the dynamic between the two towns.
You're right. And that was just
Rosewood was a very well-to-do black town.
And they didn't like that.
Sumner was not.
Like, how this black man got a piano? I ain't got a piano.
Yeah.
It's like on that granular level that they were just looking for a reason. So they got their reason, and then they just went barnstorming for black people. And despite the seemingly, protestations of the sheriff, the town sheriff there, who he's a typical white sheriff, but he's trying to uphold the law in some way. But they mob mentality just takes over.
And just
mob
one more detail. She was lying.
Well, I'm about to get to that.
Okay.
I'm about to get to that. Yeah. She was 100%. She was lying. You learned that she was lying. It actually was a white man who she was having an affair with.
Yeah.
Who actually was the one who beat on her. But for reasons that aren't really necessarily explained, she incites a riot against the black people, black people who have done nothing to her, black people who work very peacefully in her home. But she just wants to screams out that a black man attacked her, and the town gets uproarious, and now they're going looking for any and all black men to blame for what has happened.
Look, either I got beat up by the white man that I was having an affair with, or I got beat up by this strange black man who attacked me.
Right. Because to be fair, she does say it was a black man that attacked her. She can't identify him.
Because she is beat up.
Well, the
she's
the
gonna
white
have to
guy
explain that to her husband.
The white guy beat her up. The white guy who, spoiler alert, never is caught.
Well, we can talk about the history, but go ahead. Talk about the movie.
Well, as far as the movie goes.
Yeah.
So what you see is basically mob mentality, mob rule takes over in this town, and they are going basically on a spree of catching black men, questioning them, not believing them, and then killing them, either by gunshot or by lynching, some even by burning. They are just terrorizing this entire town, right? And there is no one who is standing up against this mob mentality. No one. You're left to believe that this Mr. Wright, who owns this grocery store, played by John Voight, is kind of trying to stand his ground and get these men, these white men, this mob to come to their senses, but he don't try very, very hard. He is pretty much very muted. Vin Rhames' character, Man, because he is new in the town and because they're just looking for anybody that they don't even recognize, he calls upon himself to like, yo, I know I was thinking about setting roots here, buying some property, maybe starting a relationship and a family with somebody. Yo, I gotta get out of here because they looking for a reason to come after me. And even some of you black folks are ready to put me up as a sacrificial lamb. So I've got to make myself scarce for a little bit. So he makes himself scarce for a good swatch of the movie, in which there is just all recklessness and just maiming and murder and blood and guts and lynching and burnings of houses and children being terrorized and having to hide in the swamps for days upon days. And I'm probably not doing the story super justice, and I apologize for that, but that is because upon watching this film, I was taken back to 1997. I was incredibly enraged again. I tried to be as watch it with the most discerning eyes as possible.
Sure.
But it just really, really was hard. Part of that is a triumph of the film as a movie. It's a well-made movie. John Singleton, even by now his fourth film, is matured as a filmmaker, and all of that is brought to bear in this film. Part of that is also because of the cast. Vin Rhames, you can't take your eyes off of him. He's mesmerizing. John Voight is a very underrated actor, I found. Sometimes he can be a little big, but he is doing good work in this film. Michael Rooker is an incredible actor.
Yeah.
I never don't like Michael Rooker in what he does, even if I don't like his character.
Yeah.
And I don't 100% like his character, but I like that his character is right there in the world of gray. He's got some tendencies, racial stuff with him as well, but he's also trying to be a lawman as well, as far as law is exercised in Florida in early 1920s America. So it's a well-made film, and because of that, like we've always said, the better the film is made, you forgive certain things. You can just focus on the story. And then in focusing on the story, this film just got me super heated because you hate to say that it's a story as old as time. I mean, not 30 years after this is Emmett Till, which is along the lines of the same story.
Sure.
But it really is a very traumatic film for me to watch, especially learning that so much of this film is accurate to the tale. This is like spot on for the most part what happened. Vin Rhames' character is fictitious, but outside of him, and some of the especially near the end, superhuman things that he does in this movie, everything else is pretty much very accurate. And I'm riding along with this film. As we mentioned at the top, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. An argument can be made this movie doesn't need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes. But I'm still kind of in there a little bit, even though I'm feeling like, this length, it's maybe a little bit of like kind of torture porn, because it's so long. And like every moment you think there's going to be some daylight, you can lift your head up a little bit, then somebody else gets killed.
Look, this went on for 3 days.
Every time you think John Voight has come to his senses and he's hiding out people in his house, it's like, okay, this person's going to be safe. Next thing you know, John Voight is making the dumbest deal in America and saying like, okay, y'all can just question the guy, and we all know how that's going to end. And all of this is, like you said, it's spot on. It's accurate to a T. But I'm still there. I'm invested in the movie. I'm feeling it. And then at the end of the movie, something happens, which from what I understand is very fictitious.
Mm-hmm.
And makes absolutely no sense in this movie.
And which part is that?
Don Cheadle's character, Sylvester,
Mm-hmm.
it's Sylvester Carrier, who's a very proud man. It's kind of like he's like the, not quite the patriarch, but by happenstance, the patriarch of this town.
Mm-hmm.
And he's staunch and, watches over everybody. And because it's a close-knit town, it's one of those towns where everybody's cousin.
Yeah.
And he's like head cousin.
Right.
And he's the one who, like respectfully will still dig in a white person's ass a little bit.
Yeah. According to the history. Yeah.
Because he knows his place. He knows what line not to cross over.
Right.
And he's the one that's kind of like, yo, man, ain't nothing happening here. Ain't none of us touch this woman. We are led to believe that he is killed.
Yes.
Early on in this movie.
Yes.
Very early on, burnt up in a house.
Yes.
And then at the end of the film.
Yeah, that's right.
Sylvester comes riding out.
Yes.
Of the swamps.
Yes.
On Vin Rhames' horse.
Yes.
He's on his horse.
Okay,
he's on Vin Rhames' horse.
Okay.
Catching up to a tree. I mean, to a train where everybody has gotten on. This train that is rescuing everybody. Spot on. True to the story. Sylvester comes riding out on a horse and meets up with Vin Rhames' character, Man, who says, okay, me and Sylvester, we're going to go. But y'all be safe. Y'all go and do y'all.
Right. We'll meet up with y'all.
So Vin Rhames gets off the train, and then him and Don Cheadle
go off on their own to meet them later in Gainesville.
Why didn't they just stay on the train? First of all,
well, remember
where did Sylvester come out? We're not explained how he got out. They
actually say.
Well, he did explain.
Right.
How he
they
got
say that the only people that could be on the train were women and children.
They say
that was part of the deal with the dudes who have the train.
Yes, well, but that's according to the historical text. That's not actually said in the movie. Now,
no, they do, because remember.
Well, John Voight says it. John Voight, because as the train is going on, the train which has come to the rescue of the women and children.
Right.
John and John Voight got the train there. All of these black men who have been hiding in the swamp for these 3 days come running out trying to catch the train, and John Voight does say, no, you can't get on the train, because then they'll
murder everyone on the train.
Murder everybody on the train. So yes, I guess, all right, you're right, they do say that. They do say that. But I like all of a sudden magical Sylvester coming riding out on the horse.
I have a theory about that.
Well, I don't know what your theory is, because that's not true to the text.
Well,
that's not true to the text.
It's not true according to the official history.
That's not true.
According to the official history, he died in the house.
Yeah, and it didn't take me out of the movie, because it very much is right at the end of the movie.
Sure.
But
it does seem like it comes out of nowhere.
It stretched creditability. If I'm saying
credibility.
It stretches it a little bit for me. But the one thing I will say that kind of still roped me back in is that what I liked, and I likened Vin Rhames' character Man to the Clint Eastwood Man with no name in this spaghetti westerns. What I liked is that he's not that man. He's not like coming in and all of a sudden the best in town, killing everybody. He doesn't like, like he doesn't like rescue the world, come to the rescue with guns a-blazing. He rescues the women and children. He saves the women and children, but by getting them away.
Right.
Not by killing all of the white people or
Right.
even like I think he'd only really kill any white person.
No, on the train he shoots a couple people.
Well, on the train, but I mean, like, you don't see like some big moment of him shooting, like,
sure.
So I kind of appreciated that, because despite how mythical his character is and superhuman at times, there still is a little groundness of reality to his character. So I appreciate it. I did land on appreciating that. But this is, again, a hard film. It was a hard film for me to watch. I appreciate this exercise because it made me watch this film. And I came away, despite its length, despite a little bit of nitpicks, I gotta recommend Rosewood.
I have to say, I think if there's one filmmaker that I've really enjoyed reevaluating on our journey, it has been John Singleton. I historically have been underwhelmed by John Singleton.
Oh, really?
But this is the third film that we've talked about by him. Poetic Justice,
Higher Learning,
and now this, where looking at him through Michelle Mission eyes, I have really appreciated his work. I think this is a film that paradoxically in many ways is too short and too long. I think it's long. I think it's a long film, and you know that the 2 hours and 24 minutes, regardless of the difficulty of the subject matter, I do think that there are large parts of this film that are unnecessary.
Yeah.
The main part being Vin Rhames' entire character. Like, I understand the instinct. When you read interviews with John Singleton, when you read interviews with the screenwriter,
Greg Poirier,
the strategy was which you absolutely identified. Like, it's a difficult subject. It's a difficult story. It doesn't really have a through line. So we're going to create this Clint Eastwood man with no name type character. There's a direct quote from Singleton where he said the film needed a mooring.
Right.
And I understand the instinct, but for me, the irony is that was the weakest part of the story, because this is a really fascinating story. And one of the things that I really admire about the way John Singleton made this is the level and depth of research that went into it, in the details. And, you know, details like we said, this woman who says she was attacked and she's lying because she's been having this affair with this man. The whole thing kind of gets smooth. Like, the reason Black people get pulled into it, besides the fact that she lies on a Black man, is he's a Mason.
Oh, that's an important point.
And he goes to some Black Masons in Rosewood, and they kind of help him get out. But it's like that little detail, the detail of Don Cheadle's character, Sam Carrier, who apparently was this very proud man who, you know, he's the music teacher. He has his family. He really does kind of stand up to the white people in this community in Sumner, which is the town over. And as you mentioned, there is tension between this town, which, again, you're talking about Emmett Till. This is 2 years after Black Wall Street.
I meant to look that up. Like, where does this stand?
And there are dozens of these stories of these Black towns that are doing very well. And then the white community around them is jealous, and for made up reasons or misunderstanding how you want to do it, they burn down the town. And I think the film does a wonderful job showing how these things snowball and get out of control, and how this isn't some quote unquote bad actors
Yeah.
These are regular people, and they treated lynchings like entertainment. And there is this almost carnival feel where whites are coming from out of town. There's a wonderful scene where they've lynched a man and burned his body, and people are taking pictures in front of it. Like,
and you see people, you know, raising their children.
People are
in this.
I love the way children are centered, where the white community is, you know, there's so many instances where these white people are taking their kids and telling them this is the way it has to be, and this is the way it should be, this, that, and the other. And the way the children of Rosewood are centered. Because frankly, the firsthand accounts that we have, most of them come from the kids who have grown
survivors,
up. Which, put a pin in that. So I like that part of it, and I wish there would, I wish, frankly, Don Cheadle's character would have been the star, because I think that man, historically, and the men of Rosewood, like, I don't think there was enough of the men, because apparently there was a fight. Like, it wasn't just Don Cheadle and man protecting these kids. Like, the men of this town really orchestrated the children escaping or getting to this train, where, you know, these two rich white men had a train, which apparently was a thing. Like, like, there's moments after moment after moment in this film. Like, I text you and I said, okay, this just sounds ridiculous. But then you look it up.
It's the real deal.
And it actually happens. So as a movie, I thought it was too long. But what I really want was like a 4-part documentary.
About
Rosewood, and about this story, and about the journey to our learning about Rosewood, because this was something that was buried. This was something that
it only really came to light in
I think 82. 82. The survivors scattered throughout the country. They never spoke of it. It was sort of whispered about. But no one ever talked about it. But you get the sense that John Singleton and I'm going to pull up his name because he was a large part of this research. Gregory Poirier, like, they went and they interviewed people who were survivors, and they interviewed and they got all of this wonderful information about it. So that it ends up, I think the Rosewood survivors may be the only Black people who got reparations because of something like this that has occurred. And frankly, everything that we all enjoyed 2 years ago with Watchmen, and in a Lovecraft Country where they talk about Tulsa and Black Wall Street, in a lot of ways, Rosewood is kind of the foundation for that.
Yeah.
And I have to say, my read about Sylvester, like, you want to know what I came away believing? Just
what's his theory?
This is my theory. You know, just sort of knowing Black people. You know, frankly, my family's from the South, and we have some stories in my own family.
I'm sure.
I think he escaped.
Well, he says he escaped.
No. But according to the history, he burned up in the house.
Right.
According to the history, he died in the house.
Right.
I think when they did the research and they talked to the survivors, I think he got away. And I think he changed his name, because they said they all scattered. They all kind of, you know, put together brand new lives. And I like to believe that because he did kill 2 white men.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Interesting theory. The only reason I don't buy it is because, like you said, the history shows that, or at least indicates that, the character as portrayed by Don Cheadle in this movie is very true to the man.
Right.
And I don't see, I can see that man escaping. I can see that man maybe even changing his name. I don't see that man disconnecting from his family.
No. I mean, I think he probably took his family with him,
No, I mean,
like the kids
all of those kids were his family.
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying your theory was that he escaped.
No. Right. I'm saying he resettled with his family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then changed his name and lived his life.
It's interesting that you talked about how you almost want the 4-hour documentary, and I don't know if I could sit through a 4-hour documentary of this, but
well, let me just say this: 2 of the episodes would be the journalist going and researching this story.
Okay. Yeah. Like putting it together. But it's interesting when I was watching this, and especially knowing that the man character was fictitious, and like I said, he does. I cannot overstate the superhuman things that the man does at the end of this movie.
He survives a lynching with the power of his neck muscles.
The power of his neck. And Vin Rhames, to be fair, has a mighty neck.
That's a mighty neck.
But there was almost a part, especially like right around that moment, where I wish that John Singleton had unlocked his inner Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And just with Django.
Look, I was about to say, if there's no man, there's no Django. Like, I'm talking about the Black Wall Street stuff that we have, but in a lot of ways, this is almost like a rough draft.
I'm waiting
of Django.
I'm waiting for the Django moment.
Yeah.
Like as I'm watching this, I'm waiting, because honestly, in my mind, I thought I remembered him having like a Django moment.
Yeah.
You know? So when Sylvester came up at the end, you know, there's part of me was like, oh, how he come here? It was like, oh, they're gonna go back,
right?
And now's the Django moment.
Well,
and it doesn't happen.
Well, according to Gregory Poirier, the plan was to make it more like that. But after they started interviewing the survivors, who, you know, a lot of them had kept this a secret.
Oh yeah,
it really was only after the 80s where you know, frankly, let's call his name, because this was a good dude. The guy who actually did the first story.
Oh, would that be you said in the 80s?
Gary Moore.
Right.
Gary Moore from the St. Petersburg Time in 1982 is the one who really started the ball rolling.
Right.
And investigating, but it really was until then the survivors didn't talk about it. But I think when John Singleton and Greg Poirier went and spoke to him, like John Singleton said, basically the man character would be more of a presence, but he said he really wanted to honor the survivors' stories.
Yeah.
And basically keep man in his position. So I think that's why. And
I can't knock that.
And you can't knock it.
I can't.
I mean, again, I really, really admire the moves that John. You know, something else that I liked a lot. As bad and graphic as some of these scenes are,
they are very graphic.
A lot of the violence happens off screen.
Really?
A lot. When
you got a weird sense of violence, man.
I'm calling her Florida Evans. When
Esther Roll.
When Esther Roll gets shot, we don't see her get shot.
Okay, we don't see her get shot. True.
When his cousin, who was having the quote unquote affair with John Voight,
yes,
when she's found dead, we don't see her get murdered.
No.
We don't see the vast majority of the murders of Black people in that town. When the children come back and see, like, it's always after it has happened.
Yeah, but we
don't see the children get killed, because remember, there's a moment where they have the mass grave, which an eyewitness says that they saw.
Even though the
that's
historical
not in
record says
right,
there's
the
only 8
historical
people that
right, but an eyewitness says, and I think one of the white eyewitnesses, I think that little boy who's portrayed by that actor, he says there are kids in that grave.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
it could have been worse.
It could have been worse, but
like easily it could have been worse.
No, true. It could have been worse. But the violence that we do see, which is significant. I'm sorry, I'll push back.
It's significant, but it's not.
It's graphic, dog.
Yeah.
There is a man that is like he has a noose around his neck, and they're playfully pulling at it. They beat this one dude, the blacksmith.
Yeah,
they beat him so bad that his eye is damn near like.
We actually don't see him beat him though. We don't see it.
Okay, all right. You don't see him beat him, but you do see him get shot.
You see the aftermath.
And you see the aftermath of his getting beat.
And I don't know if we see him get shot.
No, well, it's no. You see it. It's a far off shot.
Yeah,
it's.
I'm telling you, I think John Singleton handles.
And you see him. You see him get hung.
Who?
That guy.
No, you don't. You do not. You do not see him.
No, that's right. You see him in the tree.
Right.
I don't know this. And then there's images of people in trees, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, I think it's a fine line where you have to honor what happened, but at the same time, I push back against torture porn. Like I think there are, I think there are depictions that have been torture porn.
Yeah,
and I don't count this as that.
And that's fair. That's fair.
And I do think John Singleton makes deliberate choices in that.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give credit where credit is due because you know it's a tough film.
Yeah,
it's a tough film.
Where it's tough, man.
But you would recommend it?
I would recommend it. I mean, it only takes one time, but I would recommend this film. Don't watch it. What's that? There's this show. Don't watch it too soon after there's a show on ABC, Women of the Movement, which is about the story of like Emmett Till, which yeah, don't watch it after. Don't watch that. Don't do a double bill of that.
Look, this is always the challenge. This is always the challenge. I mean, you always, you never forget. You always want to commemorate.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you have to say about Rosewood, like you said, I think many of us in 1997 didn't know that this was like many of us learned about Rosewood
right there
because of this film.
Yep.
Just like many of us learned about Black Wall Street after Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to give credit for these texts that shine a light on what has happened, especially when it's been deliberately buried.
Yeah.
Like when I said I wanted the 4-part documentary, like I actually want Spike Lee or an investigative reporter to investigate all of the ways this story was buried for so many years, because that's fascinating. But then you also have to protect your peace.
I know,
because it's a tough movie. It's a tough film, and you're talking about how idyllic it was in the beginning. I think something else I admire about the filmmaking aspect of it. There's an ominous tone,
even then,
from the very beginning. Very beginning, you can tell this place is just dry tinders. Like it's just waiting for a spark.
Also, it's one of those things, and it's movie language. It's an idyllic setting, but then the chyron comes up that this is December 31st, 1923,
right,
or 22, whatever. And I think it even comes up with like the time of day,
Right.
which is a telltale sign that, oh,
yeah, we're counting down.
we're
to something.
counting down to something.
We're counting down to something.
Yeah.
You know, as you said, the white characters, there are no white savior characters.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because how did you feel about Mr. Wright, John Voight's character?
I loved how mercenary he was in his dealings. Like, I love the fact that when he hides the one man who owns the property,
the land,
he tells him, basically, I'll hide you, but we're going to have to talk about that land that you have for sale.
We'll talk about that deed
later. And man calls him out for that.
Mm-hmm.
How much does it cost for you to protect us?
And then fortunately his wife calls him out for that as well.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that he won't still be counting how many bullets that he's selling to the white people.
I think the white people in this film are fascinating because you can tell that they're just sort of small, regular people who make these choices that lead to all this death and devastation. But I like that. Like, we've talked about that before in films like The Well, or
that's a good one.
Or Mudbound.
Yeah.
Like, this notion that the Klan is just sitting in the Legion of Doom headquarters in the swamp, and they come up and do Klan stuff.
Yep.
That's not who does this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a woman trying to hide the fact that she's having an affair.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sheriff who don't mind lynching a couple of niggas if you don't burn my city, if you don't burn my town down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shopkeeper who's trying to figure out how to get some property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, these are the linchpins of these type of situations.
Would you recommend people see this film?
I would recommend people watch this film. I know this is wildly inappropriate and wildly out of nowhere almost. You ever see that episode of South Park about Scientology?
I think they've done a few of them.
Yeah, but like the first one where they actually
with Tom Cruise,
right? But they talk about what Scientologists believe.
Yeah.
And every now and then somebody pops up on the screen and says, "This is actually what they believe."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My best part of this experience, right when I text you, is I was watching it and doing research on Rosewood at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many details of this film that seem like it's bizarre,
right? Or
seem like they made it up for the film.
And then you read it in it.
But this is what actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I would recommend watching the film, but then I would also recommend reading about Rosewood and what happened over this series of days.
Yeah.
And yes, I have decided that Sylvester got away. Like, he actually did get away. And that is part of the oral history that John Singleton and why do I keep forgetting his name?
The writer?
Yeah.
Gregory Poirier.
And Gregory Poirier found out when they were interviewing people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would recommend it.
All right. Orphan Pixel says, I remember seeing this post Hard Boiled. And when I saw those two 1911s, I was expecting being the cut loose with some woo style action.
Yeah. I remember it was a bit of a bait and switch because I think that that shot was in the commercial.
Yes, right.
It led you to believe,
set you up.
It led you to believe that he was.
And then you don't even see him shoot the guns.
I don't think he even shoots those guns. Yeah.
No, he shoots them, but you don't see them.
Right.
And then you see the people he was shooting at come running out.
Right.
So it's not like he even hit them.
That's another moment where he cuts away. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Orphan Pixel even says, as an adult, I appreciate the restraint.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. So that is Rosewood, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, and this is a good one, as if you haven't figured it out, as we near the end, get closer to 300, we are man, it's top shelf stuff.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the way.
We sitting in hot cotton.
Yes. Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, I invite you all to check out the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every Black film ever made. Go to micheauxmission.com, our website. We can hit swag and check out all the cool designs and gifts that are available to you from our good friends at T Public. If you want to let us know what's on your mind and, you don't want to call us on a voicemail, feel free to email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe on YouTube and Twitch at Micheaux Mission, which is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcast work. All right. Next week, Vincent.
Yes.
We are going to that year of 1978.
All right.
Now, technically, this is your choice.
Yes.
For the Micheaux Mission, but this is a movie that this so happened to have been on both of our lists.
Yes.
When we were making our list for this road. And the time has come.
The time has come
for us to finally sit down and watch Killer of Sheep.
Killer of Sheep. The time has come.
From 1978. Next week here.
Yes, sir.
On the Micheaux Mission.
Yes, sir. Very, very much looking forward and trained for this.
Oh.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you look. This is the one.
All right.
This is one of the ones.
All right.
All right.
All right. Until then, he's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.